of life, and we are all connected. And as we affect a single strand, the whole web is affected.
Midway between Los Angeles and San Diego, the 5 freeway swings in close to the ocean. On the ocean side of the road, we notice 2 concrete structures. Taking the off-ramp at Basilone Road, named after the heroic young commando, John Basilone, who won several medals for bravery during the Second World War. This is San Onofre State Beach. Passing by the domes again, the road leads into the state park. A long, narrow strip of camping sites which feature a very varied assortment of campers, large and small, ranging from the sleek and modern to the old and eclectic. The campsite is flanked by the freeway and a railroad, and to the south is Camp Pendleton. The military do maneuvers here, and there's often the sounds of gunfire and heavy artillery. Also battleships on the horizon, and helicopters. Why does the military have all this beach? Pendleton don't surf. Well, apparently they're preserving it, protecting it against development. And 50 years ago, the military leased some of it to the Parks Department, actually at the request of President Nixon. The bad news is the lease will end in 2021, so we'd better make sure it gets renewed. We wouldn't want to lose access to this beautiful place. Or you could always join the Marines. Anyway, back to the campsite. Follow the trails to the top of the cliffs. Then a short walk brings you down to the beach, a favorite place for sunbathers, peace lovers, dog lovers, tiny house builders, and surfers. I see a lot of people here are riding foils.
For the battery business here.
This one's electric with a propeller.
They don't need weight. They just like.
Got to be easier than paddling. These guys make it look so easy. Well, maybe not. Now this is more normal. But this isn't. This is a huge problem right here in the middle of the beach. So it turns out it's a nuclear power station. I need to find out more about this. What's the story with this power station?
They're just taking it down. I mean, it's no longer working, obviously, but they're now actually taking it down. Yeah, there was a big article just the other day. It's permanently closed. I think it's gonna be 2026 till they're finally have removed everything. But I think there's gonna be some stuff buried still offshore for probably forever until they can move it to a place they have not built yet. They're waiting for a place to be built. they still have to keep it because there's nowhere to put it yet. Isn't that terrible?
I'm born and raised in this town.
What do you know about the power station?
I know it's closed. I'm not sure what they're going to do with as far as disposing, the radiation. They want to transport it and move it, but nobody wants to take it. Nobody wants to have it anywhere near them. So they've been trying to, get different places where they can dispose of it. But from what I understand, all the different states and counties and stuff don't want it, obviously. So I don't know, they might try to just bury it on the spot, but it's, this is an earthquake fault along here. They're trying to find somewhere like they originally proposed out in the desert somewhere, to bury it, cement it in and bury it in the desert. But now they're talking about doing it here.
I mean, there's still people working there, security, the people that are going to be cleaning up. So, they had a leak, like a year or two ago, something fell. And I guess it didn't leak, but they were all scared of it. There was a good article in the Union Tribune about a month ago or 2 weeks ago. You might research that. It talked about, what has to be done, the time frame, and where things are possibly going, and how the California taxpayers are pretty much paying for their failures.
I'll do a search on YouTube, see what I can find.
The San Onofre plant was built a half-century ago to produce energy. Many nuclear plants are built near oceans, rivers, and lakes because the water provides a natural cooling process for the heat collected from the nuclear waste. During its heyday, San Onofre had over 2,000 employees and provided about 20% of the power to various parts of Southern California.
And the height of the energy industry selling America on how safe and powerful it was.
The heat output of 1 pound of uranium can equal the heat output of 70 tons of coal.
San Onofre Nuclear Generating Station sits at the northernmost part of San Diego County at San Onofre State Beach, which is just south of the city of San Clemente in Orange County. The majority owner and operator of the nuclear facility is Southern California Edison.
This plant hasn't produced electricity for years, ever since one of the steam generators sprung a leak.
SoCal Edison has gotten tired of waiting to reopen the troubled San Onofre power plant, so today the utility announced it is shutting it down for good.
In January of 2012, both Unit 2 and Unit 3 had to be shut down. And that's because it was determined that both of these reactors out here had early and untimely wear. Now, the public was not initially told about this information. In fact, details were very sketchy from Southern California Edison. Ultimately, news stories showed that the public had been misled, and SoCal Edison did not disclose the severity of the safety issues. In May of 2013, California Senator Barbara Boxer concluded that the modifications to the facility did in fact prove to be unsafe and did pose a danger to the millions of people living within 50 miles of the plant.
Southern California Edison is planning on burying the nuclear waste.
Millions of pounds of nuclear waste is being moved closer to the ocean at the San Onofre nuclear power plant.
1,400 metric tons of radioactive waste.
Yeah, the now closed nuclear power plant was not designed for long-term storage.
There's 3.6 million pounds of nuclear waste sitting at the power station within just a few hundred feet of the ocean. Since the power station closed, the question of what to do with the spent nuclear fuel has become a huge issue.
The last remnants of the plant, even its 2 distinctive domes, are supposed to be gone by 2023. But until the federal government comes up with a place to put the spent fuel, the waste is going to stay on the beach.
First step would be moving the fuel, spent fuel that exists in wet storage today, moving it to dry storage.
The reason why the spent nuclear fuel stays at San Onofre is because the federal government has dropped the ball.
We certainly have enough examples in our world of accidents at Fukushima, at Chernobyl, at 3 Mile Island. Of those 70 containers coming in that are 16 feet high by 6 feet wide, one of them has enough waste that was released at the Chernobyl accident. There isn't any issue for any resident of Orange County or San Diego County in a 50-mile radius, which is 8 million people, that I think has more significance because of the potential exposure.
We're very much aligned with the folks here that want to see the fuel move sooner than later. We do too. We're basically for permanent facility, consolidated interim storage facility, any answer that would get the fuel moved off of this site.
The really big frontier is political. It's helping communities like ours understand our common purpose and mission and join up around that, and then getting our folks in Washington to deliver on that.
You know, the only way maybe we make this an issue is by being vocal in our local communities, at the state level and at the federal level.
Really, what we would encourage people to do is contact their local representative, whether it's a state representative or a federal representative or both. Contact them, encourage them to do something about the situation with the storage of spent fuel, so that we can find either a permanent repository or a consolidated interim storage facility solution to that problem.
I think if we can build enough momentum with enough people reaching out, the squeaky wheel does get the grease in Congress, and so that for us, we think that's what needs to be done. We need to elevate this issue to a national priority.
So there's a lot of work to be done here at a political level. And we know that the only way that gets done is if people make a noise and pressure their local representatives into doing something about it. Hopefully, with the new administration in power, our screams will get heard and we can kiss this mess goodbye.